Dog Targ, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout. And today was Dynamic Effort Bench Press Day, and a quick reminder for those of you who enjoy these videos and watch them every day, please click like down below. Help keep the likes higher than the dislikes, and if you guys would reach through and just click a like real quick on my other videos I uploaded today, it would be greatly appreciated. We got a lot to talk about. You guys who saw my status on the Facebook fan page know that I'm changing angles, that I'm using a normal camera instead of the fisheye lens, because the fisheye lens distorts things so badly, it doesn't really give always the best view. But I have to have a camera all the way in the other room. That's going to give me less angles, and I'm sorry for a few of the crotch shots today. I'm still learning the angles of this camera. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. I'll work on it in the future. But let's get over to the training. So I'm going to be doing standard 3-week waves for speed work, but I'm going to change bars every time. I now have enough barbells. I have 3 completely different bars I can use for box squats and bench press. Okay, and I'm just going to change the heights for my deadlifts. I've got deficits and blocks and things. So I'm going to run 3 different 3-week waves in a sequence, and I'm starting with the buffalo bar. Okay, we'll do buffalo bar, we'll do football bar, we'll do straight bar. And today we're doing 50% 1 rep max with 25% band tension for 12 triples with about 60 seconds between. And as you guys noticed, I do a third of them wide grip, a third of them medium grip, and a third of them close grip. So we start wide and we work our way in. And again, trying to be as explosive as possible. Now, sometimes people will chime in, well, there's some guys who are more explosive than you. That's true. But how did they get more explosive than me? By doing speed work for years, right? By doing what I'm doing right now for years. So that's not an insult to say, hey, you know, you're using a protocol that someone else does, but they're getting more long-term results out of it. Well, yeah. And they've been doing it for 5 years. So of course they're better at a method they've been doing for 5 years, right? That's to be expected. Guess what? Consistent hard work produces results. That's what you're saying. And I'm cool with that. So let's see where I'm at in another year doing consistent speed work. Another year doing consistent speed work. But again, one of the things people should notice here, I get faster as I get narrower. Normally when you do speed work, you start to get slower with each set, right? Like on squats or even on bench if you keep the same grip. I'm more explosive with a closer grip, and I know that. So again, normally when we would be getting fatigued as we start getting towards set 7, set 8, things like that, I'm bringing the grip in more and more. So I actually get faster, right? I actually get faster as I go. And again, that's to be expected, right? We expect that to happen. But for people who are curious, they're like, why do you do triples on that and then doubles on the squat? Well, it has to do with the fact that a lot of the guys who studied it and looked at this stuff years ago, even at like Westside and things, they realize that a 1 rep max bench takes about the same amount of time that a maximum speed bench does if you do 3 reps. In other words, the concentric is what you're looking at. How long does it take to lock it? Well, you can move the bar about 3 times faster than a max bench. So what you're getting is actually specificity of training, because if we want to use things like time under tension, you're exerting maximum force in the set for the same number of microseconds that you should in theory for a really good 1 rep max. This is actually training specificity, even though we get a lot of other benefits of speed work, and I've talked about that a lot, the hypertrophy, the conditioning. Okay, we've talked about all of that. There's also that training specificity. By doing high sets, you set up more times. Like I'm setting up 12 times. Not counting my little bit of warm-up. Okay, we're setting up, setting our arch, setting in, getting tight 12 times. And then we have the same amount of concentric time on each set that we would get for a max bench. And we're producing maximum force. We are hitting upper threshold fibers. Okay, so there's definite carryover. And my bench is going up. Now people would argue, well, Jason, your bench could be going up from the accessory work. Well, it could be. And it probably is, but this is part of it too. And that's the beauty of a system like this. When you're attacking every problem from multiple angles in your programming, you're trying to train optimally. Okay? We're not trying to say which of these factors is contributing the most. People who try to say which thing that you're doing is contributing the most are looking for efficient, not optimal. Because if you're doing 3 different things and they're all contributing to an optimal result, you need to keep all 3 things in, right? But if one of those 3 is giving you 60% of the results, and the other 2 are only combined together giving 40%, you could cut those out if you want to be efficient. And then you can only get 60% of the results for only a third of the work, right? That's efficient. I'm trying to train optimal. Then, as promised, we went over to our 3 sets of each supplemental lift. And what I'm doing is I've explained, I'm not going to do, other than certain lifts like the reverse hyper, I'll do 5 sets. Everything's going to be 3 sets, and they're going to be hard sets, and I'm going to try to push progression very, very hard. And when I stall, it's time to change bars or change to a close variation, right? Close grip, we got a PR today. And that was no surprise, by the way, because I'd already said I know I'm weaker after board pressing, because I board press on my max bench days. If I only hit a max bench and went to close grip, I would be less fatigued than the speed work. Okay? But because I do the board work after, that really builds up that fatigue. So today, because I did the speed work with no board work, I managed to add a microplate, right? We got a 2.5 pound PR. This is 240. For those who look, my calibrated plates are very thin, but if you look, there's definitely 2 of them on each side. So I have 240 on the bar, 3 sets of 10, and the last set, I got an 11th rep. I want to see, can I get just one more? Now, the fact that I got an 11th rep, what's that tell us? That even on max effort day, when it comes up, we need to test and see if I can add another fractional plate. Now, if I feel really fatigued after the board work, I'll try to just replicate this again and get 10. But we know that on speed day next time, I should be good to get more, right? I should be able to get more. So we can add another 2.5 pounds. Because that extra rep tells us everything, tells us a lot. That means in spite of slowly cutting right now, we're going to make gains. And that's the perfect scenario, right? Most people, when they're cutting, what happens? They lose muscle. I'm not doing that. That's why I'm going to slow cut, right? Not going to be more than a pound a week. Slowly work my way down. Drop another 11 pounds from where I'm at now, then reassess. I hate it when people say, what's the goal? There isn't. We reassess at different set points, right? That's the intelligent way to do things. And I did the JM presses. I probably need a better angle because some people don't realize how far I'm pulling the bar over my face. This isn't a guillotine press. It might look almost like a closed grip guillotine from this angle, till you realize that bar is actually coming over my nose. Like I can see the bar over my face, right? It's a few inches in front of my face while laying down. Like it is above my nose, which is, again, effective. I feel these in my triceps, and the part of the tricep I need to build for my benching, probably one of the reasons my bench and close grip are going up, this exercise is building them. And since I've cut down to only 3 sets of 10, that's why I'm going to be able to keep PRing on it. This is a PR. And I managed to get 12 reps on the final set instead of 10, which tells us what? We need to add another fractional plate. This is 140. We need to go up. And I've already set goals. What if I say I need to do? I need to be up to 155 on the JM press for sets of 10, and I need to be at 275 on the close grip. As of right now, we're 15 pounds away on the JM press, and we're 35 pounds away on the close grip. Those are pretty close ratios. So we'll keep pushing, and we'll get there, and then we'll set new goals. Now, if I stall on these before then, and I probably will, I am not going to get to 275 for sets of 10 on the close grip uninterrupted. I'm going to have to change bars or something. But that's okay. We always push for progression, always get better, and if you stall, you need to rotate it out, right? No use beating an exercise when you're an advanced lifter that is not progressing and just getting overuse problems. Switch movements. Get us a mild novel training response, start progressing on that. And again, your tendons and everything will thank you for it. Tendons will thank you for it. This one, same thing. I'll move the camera over to the side. I didn't mean for it to be a crotch shot. I'm clothed, though, so it's all good. So I'll turn it more to the side next time for these. Inverted rows, I got way too many. I went up, I added another mat. I ended up getting 15 on the first set, so I added yet another mat. I'm just going to keep stacking these up. Next time I need to add another one. Inch by inch by inch, and just make them more and more challenging. By raising the heels, what happens? We make the lift harder and harder and harder. And I'm actually shocked at people's strength disparity on this. I have one client who's not even a light guy who can crank out 20 plus of these. I have other clients who are not super heavy who struggle with these. Like, they struggle to get 10. 10 is hard. So it's kind of just off the floor. So there's such a strength disparity on these from person to person, which I think is interesting because about 4 of my clients do them total. But I ended up getting at least 12 on the last 2 sets with extra pad added. So we'll go to 5 pads next time. Every time we're able to get at least 12 on all the sets, we'll add another inch. Then I did my upright rows. I went up another 10 pounds. Wide grip upright rows. And yes, these are done this way for a reason. This is a counter-indicated exercise. It's a phenomenal exercise, but if you don't do it right, it will destroy your shoulders. Now, some people say that that's not true. There are experts who disagree with that. And I respect the fact that they disagree. But I'm not going to risk it when I can do a version that is generally considered to be safe, and that's to take it out really wide. My pinkies are on the rings. Right? I could even go wider later, because you go to the next set of rings in your snatch grip, because this is an Olympic bar. It has both sets. So, and then you stop. You don't take it all the way to the face, right? You stop maybe mid-chest, lower chest. But I got my sets of 10. I think I got like an 11th on the last set. So again, I'm going to try to just keep ramping this. I feel like I've got a lot of room to grow on this movement, and it will bring up my entire shoulder girdle. It'll help with my upper back, all the stuff that we need for benching, all the stuff we need for deadlifting. I'm going to add more and more upper back stuff. I may add shrugs back in on max effort squat and deadlift day, because I have more room for volume there, because I'm not doing all tons and tons of speed work like on the dynamic days. So I've got room for a little bit of hamstring and upper back work that I wouldn't normally have. And it's not to say I don't train all that stuff. All right, they all get trained because we do good mornings, hip belt squats, reverse hypers, inverted rows, all that stuff gets done. But I have a little bit more room for extra exercises to just throw in 3 sets. So we'll start throwing in shrugs. Curls, my straight bar cheek curls. Now people ask, why do I have them wide and why do I have my wrist cocked back? To avoid forearm strain, right? Straight bar curls, people complain about them. They're like, yeah, technically the straight bar does work more bicep, right? Biomechanics show that. Slightly more bicep, but it really can beat your forearms up. Because people turn it into a wrist curl or they go too narrow. So I'm doing them out wide, and I'm cheating a little bit, especially cheating on the last rep or 2, trying to get my sets of 10. And when I stall on these, eventually I can switch to an easy curl bar. Okay, then I can go to hammer curls. So the same thing. I mean, just like I'm doing the other stuff, when we stall, we can switch movements around. All right, we can switch movements around. But for now, I need the extra bicep. I definitely need the extra bicep. It'll help my bench press. It'll help me look bigger, which I need. And I mean, people always joke about how small my arms are, and I think they'd be shocked at how big they are at this point. It's the rest of me is just, I'm a good sized guy. I'm not a 200-pound guy here. I'm still weighing just over 220. I'm 226 this morning. So for me to look like I have big arms at my weight, they'd have to be 20 plus inches. They'd have to. It's just the way it is. Otherwise, I'm not going to look like I have big arms. And there's smaller, more aesthetic guys who are going to have 16-inch arms, 15-inch arms, that their arms look bigger than me in a picture. I don't care. I'm not a bodybuilder. But that being said, I do need to be more proportioned, and it'll help my bench press. So we're throwing in the curls. And just 3 sets to failure. Like with everything else, that's all we really need. 3 sets to failure. And my 3 sets of face pulls, and there you guys can see my low back. Yes, that's where I store my fat. And that'll come down. I'm cutting. So we'll get down another 11 to 12 pounds. Which, again, people will ask, well, is that really that much? Yeah. pure fat. And we're not talking about body weight. A lot of you guys are talking about water loss and muscle loss and other stuff with your cutting. I'm not doing any of that. I've shown that I know how to maintain all muscle mass on a DEXA before. Look, 11 to 12 pounds of fat is a gallon and a half, right? Imagine a gallon jug, 1.5 of those. Okay, it's got to come from somewhere. That's a big chunk of it. There's several cups right there. That's probably half a gallon back there, right? It'll come off. But it was a great workout. Happy with everything today. Good numbers, good PRs on the accessory work. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.